to another new video. Today it's going to be a fun video and we have Josh here with us too because
hello.
I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going to be doing my January wrap up. Now, I read 5 books in January and Josh read 5 books in January, so we thought we'd do a joint wrap up because it would be fun. And we have this thing going on where we've got 12 books of 2016 and which might be like part 1, we might have 24 because at the moment we're reading 2 of the 12.
That's 6 months worth. Each
month, so that's 6 months worth, so then we have, anyway. And we'll talk about some of them in this video, and then at the end when we both read, basically we've got 12 books that we both want to read throughout the year, but there might end up being 24, but first we've got 12 to kind of see how it goes. And we've both read 2 of the 12 but different ones, and then extra books as well, like, so it won't just be reading those 12. So we'll talk about those, and then you might see, so we thought it'd be fun to do the wrap up together because then, like, say in 2 months time when maybe I read a book that Josh read of the 12,
you can watch the video and find out what I said about it.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see what each person thinks about the book. Anyway, so like I say, we've got 5 books to go for each, so that's 10 books, so we're going to not be too slow on them, so I'm just going to start ahead. And the first book that I read of 2016 was the one and only Ivan, and this was one of the 12. So that was a good way to start. It's a really short book. So you looking up your scores?
Yeah, I'm just going to lay them out here so I can.
I remember we've got a little book each where we kind of keep. Oh, I didn't bring mine down. Like a little notebook where we keep kind of a track of what book we read and what date we finished it and the score that we gave them. Now, I've remembered the scores that I've given them, but
I have a bad memory.
You have not. Anyway, okay, so the one and only Ivan, I enjoyed this book, but I kind of heard a lot of hype around it. I thought it was going to be kind of sadder than it was. I thought that, I don't know, I enjoyed it. It was about an ape and a gorilla, not an ape. I find it hard to remember the difference. It's about a gorilla and it was really sweet and heartwarming. I think I would read it again. It was a quick, easy read and it had really cute characters, which most of them were animals, but it did have some human characters too. But there's a lot of animal characters that I really loved, and you kind of hear inside the gorilla's mind, and I really liked that. It was a really cool little aspect, but I gave it 4 stars, which obviously is good, and it means I really enjoyed it, but it just kind of, I was expecting it to be more of a 4.5, 5-star read, but overall I enjoyed it, and when you read it, I'm excited to see what you think about it.
Yeah, it's a book about a monkey.
It's about a gorilla. I just said Godzilla, a gorilla. Not a monkey or an ape, but a gorilla. So yeah, it's the one and only Ivan. I enjoyed it. It was good. It's a nice, quick, easy read, so it was great for one of the 12, and a good way to kind of start off the reading it. Okay, your first book that you read, 2016.
First book I read.
No, we're just doing it right today.
Is Snow Like Ashes. Basically, this book was quite hard to get into. I thought it was quite of a slow read for me. I mean, I don't really read as it is, and this is probably the first month I've read more than 1 book a year. So.
1 book a year?
Yeah, I'd never really read.
Yeah, but last year you read 3 books in a year.
Oh, that was towards the end of it. But no, I thought it was quite political in the way it was. If you think about like a Game of Thrones episode where nothing really happens yet you still thoroughly quite enjoy reading it, it was sort of like that but in a book. I did like the characters, but it was in times quite political in the way that they were going through the places where you go. There's like rhythms and seasons and stuff like that, and there's a war going on, and it's just it got quite hard to read at certain points. But no, it was really good. I gave this book 4 because I mean it just got better and better when I was reading it. I got more and more into it, and I did really enjoy it. So yeah, that's that one. Good.
Now I read another book and I loved it and it was great. It was Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. I don't know why I hadn't finished the series yet. Battle of the Labyrinth's my favourite one. I love that one. It's like one of my favourite books ever. It's so good. This one wasn't quite as good as Battle of the Labyrinth, and I kind of feel like I'd spread these out because I really enjoy them. But I don't really know why I spread them out because I've also got the Heroes of Olympus series to read, and now I've got Magnus Chase, which I recently picked up, which I can't wait to read. And there's all these other books by Rick Riordan that I can read, so I don't know why I was kind of trying to spread them out. But anyway, this one I really enjoyed. Obviously, I can't tell you much because it's the 5th book in the series. But overall, I love this series. It's great. I think anybody can read it and enjoy it. It's a middle grade, but it's so good. And like I say, the 4th one's my favourite. This one got a bit patchy in places for me. I wasn't as hooked with it, but then the end happened. I loved the end. I just loved it. I definitely reread this series. So if you haven't read it, then you should read it. And I give it 5 stars. And I don't often give books 5 stars. I actually didn't give the whole series 5 stars. I gave The third one I think 4.5, but the fourth one, like I say, is just the best one ever. But yeah, this one's really good as well. I'll give this one 5. So yeah, I loved that one.
Me.
Second book.
Second book I read, Forgive Me, Leonard, Peacock. This is the first of the 12 that I read. Very different. It was a very different book. It's quite dark, quite satire as well, but really, really like this book. The character, he's very, very twisted in a way. I'm allowed to say what it's about in this book or not?
Well, a little bit. But remember, I might read this one this month. I think you're holding it a bit too far now.
Okay.
I don't know what the thing is.
But I don't know, there's not much to say about this book without spoiling it.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoil it, so I won't read it.
It's not a book where there's it's not like a storybook. It's more of consider it more of a documentary.
Like a character study?
It is a character study. There's not actually a story going on as so, if that's a phrase you say. But I just thought it was a really good book. It was really, really different. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. And if you ever want something different to read that isn't solely on stories and fantasy and everything like that, then this is a really good book.
And it's quite short.
Yeah, it is. It is quite short, but it is, again, quite hard to get into. But when you do get into it, you will see yourself flying through it.
Okay, my next book I was really excited about because I kind of just picked it up the day before I read it, and that rarely ever happens. And I read it in 2 days and I loved it. I kind of feel like I could have read it in 1, but for some reason, I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't have the time to. I just wanted to read this book pretty much all the time. And it was Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. And I loved this book, and I feel like now looking back on it, maybe... Well, I gave it 4.5, which I feel like is a bit questionable because I really, really, really enjoyed reading it and I really loved the characters, but I feel like I did have a couple of problems here and there, but nothing massive. I felt like it didn't... There was a few problems I had towards the end. Not problems, but there was a few things that kind of... I might have wished went a different way. But overall, the whole outcome I was glad with and stuff. But you've probably heard of this book. I feel like it's really popular at the moment, so it's not like... You know, they don't really need to explain the story, I don't think. But it is a contemporary, but for a contemporary I thought it was really, really good. Because usually for me, contemporary is kind of middle of the road, but this one I thought was really good. It was quick and easy to read, and it was just so much fun, and it made me laugh, and I just loved it. And I loved Simon as a character, and I loved his friends and his family and his story, and just, you know, trying to guess along the way who the other person was. Which, you know, if you kind of read the book or know about the book, you know what I mean. There's another person involved who you don't quite know who it is. It's somebody who is emailing, and it's really fun, and so I really loved it. So I gave it 4.5, and I would read this book again in the future as well. Okay, your third book?
Yeah.
Fourth book?
Okay, so my third book is Armada. Well, I read Ready Player One.
Last year.
Last year that was, and I loved it. That was such a good book. This one, I think he's just gone from strength to strength. People apparently have had mixed reviews on this, but it blew me out of the water, and I just think absolutely all-round amazing book. Ernest Cline always writes about 80s pop culture.
You can't say always, because he's only written...
Yeah, well,
like, okay.
2 books, and he's done like a
little
thing about himself, the importance
yeah.
of being Ernest, which again is probably about him and 80s pop culture and everything like that. But, I don't know, there's just something about this where it's just like me in a book. It seems like if I was to write a book about the things that I like, you would get this book. It's a bit of Ender's Game mixed Pixels, the movie.
Oh yeah, because we watched Pixels after you read that book, and you described the book to me, because I don't think I'll read this one. I think I will read Ready Player One, but not this one. And then, so you described the book to me, and then we watched Pixels, and I was like, wait, this is kind of like the book. It
is just, if you're into sci-fi, you're into old games. I mean, if you're into games anyway, it is just such an awesome book that you have to pick it up. I mean, if you've not read this one or Ready Player One, you need to. Ready Player One was...
Which one do you prefer?
Probably preferred the story of Ready Player One, because I think I could not put that book down, whereas this one, I mean, I only read it, it didn't take me very long, a couple of days maybe, but still this book was just as good, I reckon. It was just as good. The stories are completely different. I mean, if you're writing about the same topic and you still got 2 different complete stories out of it, then you got some genius behind you there. And Ernest Cline, you're a legend. I love you.
But he might take ages to come out with another book as well.
Well, I'll be
Ready
waiting.
Player One came out quite a while ago, and then this one,
Yeah,
so it might be sad.
Both of them were absolutely phenomenal books. And
What did you give it?
oh, I
You
gave
haven't
it.
told anybody.
Obviously, I gave it 5. If you can't tell by what I said about it, then yeah, that's a definite 5 for me.
Okay, my next book, which is my second to last book, but it's also one of the 12, was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Or Gillian, I don't know. Whichever way you say it, Gillian. People say it differently, I'm not sure.
Gillian, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, but I think it... I don't know, anyway, people do say it differently, I'm not sure what's the correct way. It's with a G, but...
That's Gillian, that is.
Okay,
I'd say
Gillian.
Gillian.
Well, people say different ones, I don't know. Anyway, so Gillian Flynn. Either way, I had watched Gone Girl, but I hadn't read the book, and I really enjoyed Gone Girl, the movie. It was really interesting, really weird, dark and twisted, and Dark Places, the movie's coming out. And I thought, yeah, I would read Sharp Objects, and it's definitely kind of different, obviously, than the other books that I read. I don't read much crime thriller, apart from if it's Agatha Christie, which I feel like is on a different kind of scale, because it's not really dark, it's kind of more, not comical, but it's old, so it's different.
Black comedy.
No, you've read Agatha Christie, it's not...
Oh, I thought I didn't know what you were on about.
You just chime in with anything.
Yeah.
No.
I heard old comedy.
But yeah, this one's definitely darker and more twisted, and I kind of wasn't sure how I was going to like it. I wasn't really sure I was going to get into it, because at the beginning I was kind of like, ooh, I didn't know, but then kind of it started to go on, the story started to unravel. It's a mystery about this woman who's a journalist, goes back to her town, and these girls have gone missing and have been murdered, and she has to kind of figure out what's going on. And as it got to the end, it got really intense, and I just haven't really stopped thinking about this book since reading it, which obviously it's not been that long, but it's kind of stayed in my mind. I think this is going to be a book that's going to stay in my mind for a really long time, and I kind of feel like it's weird. It's kind of just lingering there in a really weird way, and you've got this one to read of one of the 12, so I'm going to be really interested.
I think that'll be my next book.
For you to read it so we can actually talk about it and the end and how it kind of... I don't know, if you haven't read this book, I would recommend it. I feel like if you find it a bit weird at the beginning, I definitely would persevere with it, because for me, at the start, I was a bit like, oh, and then as I got into it, I started to enjoy it a lot more, and I give it 4.5 stars. And the reason I didn't give it, I feel like a lot of people might give this 5, or a lot of her books 5, it's just because I don't feel like... I don't know, I wasn't completely hooked at the beginning, which I feel like other people have maybe got from this. I don't know what happened there, I just wasn't as hooked. And I think, because I liked Gone Girl the movie so much, with Dark Places, I think I could be pleased enough to just watch the movie and not have to read the book. So I know it's a bit of a controversial thing with there, but yeah, Sharp Objects, I still really, really enjoyed it, gave it 4.5 stars, and it's definitely stuck with me. So that was a great kind of one of the 12. I nearly went on to my next one, but it's your go.
My next one was...
Also one of the 12.
Yeah, Midwinterblood. This one, I just randomly picked it up out of the 12. Didn't read the back. I didn't read anything. Didn't know what it was about.
Under this cover, we wanted the really cool one with the rabbits on when I ordered it. When I got this one, I was really disappointed.
But I don't know. I just randomly picked it up whilst you were doing Tuesday night movie night.
Yeah, I was Tuesday night movie night.
By the time you came up for Tuesday, like when it finished, I'd near enough finished the book.
Yeah, just like picked it up and like read that book in just one like couple of hours, didn't you?
Yeah. It was different, very different. I don't know
You lost all this.
Yeah, I just don't know how to say anything without giving it away again, because the way it is it says it on the back. It says a place where no one ages and no children are born, a ritual sacrifice takes place, and
doesn't it go back and forth 15 times?
Yeah, it keep not back and forth or back and forth. It goes back and then back and then back and then, and it gets really interesting because all these characters get introduced. They get introduced in different times, and everyone links together. And then there's all this big unveiling at the ending. You just like, what is going on? And every time I was just like, I just need to find out. I need to read this book, which is why it only took me 2 hours.
Yeah, you just like every time you stop, I need to carry on reading.
I just had to find out what was going on. I mean, from what it looks like, it's very different. It is very different. When you start reading it, this book goes in a completely different direction to what you think you could actually go in. It completely so say you're here, the book's gonna go like that and like end up somewhere over here. It was a very good book. I gave it 4.5. It wasn't as good as Armada, but it was
Yeah.
still up there. I mean, if you can read a book in 2 hours and not put it down once, then you're onto something good there.
And my final book was Geek Girl. So after Sharp Objects, I was feeling like something a bit light and fluffy, and I've had this book on my shelf for years. I've had the first one and the second one, and I got the third one for Christmas. So I was like, right, I need to kind of crack on with these books. And I picked it up and thought, oh, this would be probably like just a quick, easy read. And I ended up really, really enjoying it. It was really fun. It was funny. I loved the main character. I also loved her kind of family dynamic. It is easy to read, but I feel like it's kind of relatable, even though I'm not in the age group for it to be relatable. Like, she's still in high school and has a lot of kind of high school problems. But I still really, really loved it. And the boy in this book too, I really, really, really liked him, and he was just really sweet, and he was just so interesting, but it wasn't like too much. It was just enough to really kind of get you hooked and like him, and I can't wait to read the second one. I feel like I'm now like, ooh, like I've kind of got my books planned out a bit for February, but as soon as kind of I get a space in the thing now, I definitely want to read the second one to this. I feel like it's just a really cute and fun, easy series to go through, and I gave it 4 stars. Which is good, but I feel like for how much I had fun with it, I maybe should have given it a bit higher. But I feel like as the series goes on, I'll start to kind of love it more and get more connected to the characters and things like that. But yeah, overall I recommend this book. I really, really enjoyed it. So plus it's British, so I was like happy because it kind of mentioned a lot of British places, but also she goes to another country in it, and I thought that was a really, really, really interesting bit as well, but I won't give too much away. Overall, I'd recommend it. I really enjoyed it. It was funny. I definitely laughed out loud more in that book than many of my other books. And your final book. Okay, everybody, so the lighting actually might be a little bit different because we had to do something with the camera, but where we were at was Josh is going to tell us his final book that he read in January. Is this your 5th book?
Yep.
Okay.
5th book was Shadow and Bone. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind because this is the first book in the Greek trilogy.
Yeah.
And most people have probably read all of them by now. But just starting this one because every time I look at the 6 of Crows, I always want it.
And I said he should probably read these ones first. Not that I've read either, because it's set in the same world. So I thought.
I'm not allowed it yet, basically. So no, it was really good. Apart from when I read the first chapter, I got really confused. It just sort of threw me in there and then threw me somewhere else. And I just thought to myself, what is going on in this book? And you asked me if I enjoyed it or not.
Yeah, after the first.
I couldn't make headway of what was going on, but I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I really like the main character, even like the bad guy in this one. But the world was just so heavily fantasy based that it was a lot easier to read than something like Snow Like Ashes, which was so much slower and really, really heavy on the background of the actual places and like the lore and stuff like that. But with this, really good read. I think.
Are you going to read the second one?
Yeah.
What did you give this one? Your book's moved.
Oh no, I've lost my book.
It's there.
I gave this book a 4.5.
Oh, so you did give it on a bit more than Snow Like Ashes.
Well, yeah, no, I think at the end of it as well, I was still I was on par on a 4 on this one. But I don't know, just rethinking it a little bit and just how it all ended, I did give it a definite 4.5. It ended really, really well. But it is very, very similar to Snow Like Ashes. It's the same. It is, but this is if you imagine Snow Like Ashes, but a lot more fantasy. They've got the same sort of characters and stuff like that, the same sort of situations going on with both the characters in both books. But it's just really well written. It was a really good book, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. So.
Okay, so to conclude, we're going to each tell you our favourite book of the month, which we'll get now. You get your favourite, I get my favourite. My favourite was Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian.
My favourite was Armada, obviously.
So we both gave these 5 stars, so at least we both had we only had 1 5-star book each this month.
Yep.
So 5-star. Now, if you were to, let me get the 3, if you, obviously, some of the 12 would both be switching anyway, so I read 2 of the 12, Josh read 2 of the 12, but out of the other 3 books that I read, which are obviously Geek Girl, Simon vs. Homo Sapiens, and Percy Jackson, which one would you be most interested to read?
Percy Jackson.
Obviously, you wouldn't be.
I have to read all of them.
Okay, what did you have? Armada. So I think I would most want to read Shadow and Bone out of Josh's ones, so this one. Because I'd been interested in that for a while. But yeah, so I felt like we kind of read quite different books between each other. And
mine were all very fantasy.
A lot of mine
based.
were contemporary, but Percy Jackson's fantasy Greek gods. But yeah, so we thought it'd be fun to do the video together because then it's kind of combining a real mix of books and also the 12 books are fun. But yeah, until then, sorry this video is kind of very long. We'll try and work on shortening it down. We're hoping to read at least 5 books each month. So yeah, join us next month for the February wrap up. And I'll see you then. Goodbye!